Hey, before this video starts, have you ever wanted to draw with random people you don't know? Have you ever wanted to get free prompts and show your artwork to people you don't know? Have you ever wanted a cool place to talk about your mental problems and traumas and just be sad with random people you don't know? Then come join my Discord server, because I have a Discord now. All the links will be in the description to pretty much everything I have in life. But in this server specifically, we kind of decided that we were going to start a drawing club, which I like people to be involved in. Basically, every month I'm going to be giving a theme for us to be drawing with. If you want to stick on theme, you can. If you just want to draw random stuff and put it in the art section of the Discord, that's fine too. Fan art's accepted. We get to talk to each other. I might even do like a little voice chat thing also with the club, talking about drawing and talking about experiences and things like that. And I want to say maybe every weekend on stream, if not every other weekend, we're going to just be drawing all together using websites and softwares like whiteboards, so we all can draw together in a goofy, funny way. We already did one on stream and it was really fun. So if you want to be participating in that, or you just want to know about that, you should join the server. The link is in the description below. I totally didn't forget to put this part in earlier and make it special, and I totally didn't just like randomly at the end of editing and everything just put this in. That's not what happened. You don't know me. Stop judging me. Stop it. Anyways, now on to the actual video itself. Hi guys, it's Luna and welcome back to another video. Today's topic is gonna be about race. I'm sorry. I was trying to ignore this because of all the things that have been going on in the world, but also I didn't want to share my opinion on a certain topic that I remember hearing about. I've had in my notes for a while in my little pile of ideas, but I didn't really want to touch it, but now I'm kind of like, I don't really care anymore. Now, before we start any of the real conversation behind it, I guess we should really kind of define what whitewashing is, or at least give a general example so you guys know what I'm talking about. Now, usually in art specifically, you'll find whitewashing in the terms of taking, let's say, a black character from an anime and giving them either lighter skin altogether or just making them white or European looking. You know, the blonde hair, the blue eyes. Now, we mainly see whitewashing in the sense of making them lighter with people like Nessa from the Pokemon series. But there are many other characters and many other TV series or video games that are whitewashed all the time, especially in fan art. That's what we're going to be specifically talking about today, is more in the art category, not in the general aspect of whitewashing, which I could get into next time, but today this is just what we're talking about. In my personal opinion, when it comes to whitewashing and art and whatnot, it kind of becomes a very difficult topic to talk about, because then you have to really go into context, because context matters in situations like this. Obviously, people assume that, well, you're whitewashing, so you're racist. I personally don't believe that. There are many excuses you can give to that person if you want to use that word. I would use more of explanations for why they whitewashed or why they did what they did. All of it isn't the situation with Nessa where the one girl made her into a gorilla. It's not always something like that where it's obviously that's insensitive, and I don't believe that girl just didn't know what she was doing. But there are a lot of other times where it's just in the way of, there's a difference between drawing white people and black people. Let me explain. Now, white people are a bit easier to draw because it's not very hard to make them look good, if that makes sense, or aesthetically pleasing. Like, you can put blush on people, you can give them rosy cheeks, you can make someone have green, purple, black eyeshadow. If you give them more of the European-esque look to them, they can look pretty much good because of the beauty standards and the cultural standards of the world, especially in the US where I live. Those features look great. Even if you look a hot mess or you're wearing a bright colored outfit or whatnot, it still meshes with your skin color and other people's eyes because of how we were trained to think and what we were trained to think is beautiful. Now, with black people, it's a little bit harder. As someone who draws black people, as someone who is black, let's just say that the rules are a bit different for us. Obviously, when I draw a white person, I would draw someone with lighter toned skin. I would draw that person with blush. I would draw that person with an undershadow that's more brown-like. Like, it's very easy because of all of the representation and all the people that I know who draw white people, and I know that they have tutorials on drawing, and we just see it more in media. It's a little bit easier and simpler to draw them. When coming to black people, it's a little bit harder because we have a little bit more challenges that people just don't tend to want to learn about and want to learn on how to accurately represent us, in the sense of you can't draw a black person just dark as fuck. They come to levels. You have to draw them at the basic levels of light skin, medium skin, and dark skin. And there are all these levels in between. Our shadows don't look the exact same. You can't have us looking ashy, because sometimes if you add too much gray to our undertones, it can be ashy, and most black people, if not any black person, looks ashy. That's important. Some of y'all be making us look like we have been trying to start fires with our elbows. Like, I just don't, the ash needs to stop, okay? There are a lot of nuances for both skin tones that make us significantly different, and you have to learn about both equally, but being realistic in this society, people don't do that, nor do people really care enough to even look it up to try, you know? So with those hardships in mind, and with that being said, when you see someone draw a character more black, it's more of a show of more representation to that person. When you see a person draw someone more white, it's perceived as you trying to represent a group of people who are already represented in most forms of media. Like, almost every form of media is going to have that blue-eyed, white-skinned, blonde-haired character, when they might not have that dark-skinned character, while not making them look like a clown, because even then, the way they portray black people in general is just kind of off, if you know what I mean. Like, if you've ever seen One Piece and you've seen this character, I would have never guessed that this character was black, but apparently they are. When I first saw this and I first saw that that person was black, I was like, how? And what way do black people look like that? Even just going with being a light-skinned black person. What the fuck? How is that a black person? That's not. There's no way. I'm not saying that that character is racist or whatnot. I'm sure that the people who designed it just didn't take the time to know what black people look like, or they made some caricature of what they thought. But that's how a lot of people would try to draw a black person in that type of style, when nobody looks like that. That's not a really accurate or appropriate representation, in my opinion, of a black character, dark-skinned, light-skinned, or whatever. There are a lot of examples of this where it's just these weird, odd-looking caricatures, when really the best you could give a black character is someone like this, where you just have a little thicker lip and a more button nose. That's really all you have to change. We're not super different in the sense of we don't look human or whatnot. We just have different bone structures, different nose types, different lips, usually bigger, plumper, or it depends on the character and where they come from. But I get that it may not be the simplest thing, because most black people aren't portrayed in a very appropriate or decent or aesthetically pleasing looking way. And sorry for going on that little ramble tangent there, but my point of saying all this is trying to drive home that we don't really have the representation that we need nor deserve. So I think when people see someone trying to whitewash a character, especially a black character, they're gonna have some type of feeling about it because of the lack of representation we already have in the media, and the representation that we do have isn't really the best. You get what I'm saying? Whether it's positive, negative, whether it's a cool character, a crazy character, an intricate character, we really don't have that many characters to look up to, you know? Now, I know one of the biggest kind of comebacks to that as well, people draw white characters as black, or they draw Asian characters as black. It's not the same thing. In a way, yes. And I think that's where I kind of got confused and had to take a minute and kind of think about this topic a little bit more than I did the first time around. I don't even think blackwashing characters is good. You're not really giving us the proper representation that we actually deserve when you do that. I know a lot of black people think that it's okay because we're doing it and we're trying to show more of that representation, but is that really an accurate representation of us? A Eurocentric person who basically thinks just like the typical white person, but they have black skin. Most of the time they don't even have black-esque hair, they just have straight hair, which is, again, just shows another example of having black people having to conform to that white stereotype just so we can be accepted or fit in. That's why I just don't even think that blackwashing is even a decent thing at that, because it still doesn't show that representation of, well, this person has maybe more kinkier hair, or their hair doesn't sit flat like a white person's, or it doesn't just become super straight like a white person's. It's our natural hair, or even our natural nose or mouth, or our eye shapes, or our bone structures, or our culture and our history. That doesn't change the culture of that character. It doesn't change that that character was meant to be more European or more Japanese or more basically something that's not our race or our culture. They were still meant to be that, and they still have that culture behind them. It still doesn't show that representation of someone who grew up in the South like me, or someone who has that black family or that normal black family. It doesn't show that. It shows that, oh, I just slapped some black skin on that character, that's a representation for black people. And no, we want a little bit more than that. I think at this point in time, if you're someone who feels this strongly about blackwashing and whitewashing and things like that, then you should probably ask for a little bit more than slapping black on a character and making them look pretty while still giving them all the nuances of someone that's not from the black community. And now thinking about it, I think that was another argument that was put up, that it almost somehow glosses over or erases that culture of that character. And technically with fan art, it really doesn't do that much of it. In some cases, that's how some people feel, and that's how people can feel, and that's what people's ideal of it is that somehow that erases what that character has or what they've done by making them look more Eurocentric or making them look more whatever. But in my opinion, that really doesn't do that. That character is still that character. Now, it's disrespectful in some cases to the artists and what they did and the work that they put in to make that character have the cultural representation that they wanted, and all of the time and research and just cultural nuances that they had to look up and put in to be respectful to that culture. Even if it's a Japanese person, make it a Japanese character, you still have to make sure that you're representing your culture or that character in the right way, and it does almost erase all that work they did in some ways. Yes, I don't think the person making it is trying to completely do that all the time. Sometimes that's happening, but also sometimes that's not. That's why you have to actually look into the situation and not just see a character that looks a little bit lighter than their original color and assume that person's trying to whitewash that character. They may have just wanted to put a different spin on it. Now, to conclude this video, because I think I gave enough to where we can have a proper discussion about it, I may make a follow-up video answering questions and things like that, and maybe sharing my opinions on the different factors that we have here in this topic. But for right now anyways, my opinion personally is I don't really care for any of it. I don't think everyone has the worst intent and is trying to be racist when they make a character a little bit lighter than they're supposed to be. Sometimes shadows can come into play. Sometimes all types of things like that can come into play when you're drawing and you're making a character. You can give a character who's white a blue tint. That does not mean that you're trying to make them an alien all of a sudden, and that's how you think of white people as aliens, as blue monsters. That's not how that always works, and the intent matters. So I don't really care much. It's like if someone made my character white because they wanted to just maybe make the race different, I wouldn't really care. Now if they made my character a monkey, or they said that they looked better that way, that's a little bit different. That's a different conversation. But again, context matters in that sense. Now really, what I wish is that black people just got their own separate character and representation in media. I really don't care about blackwashing and whitewashing, nor do I think either should really exist like that. I think it's more of sharing black artists and making sure that you have informed yourself on how to draw black characters. Even if you maybe never draw a black character in your life, at least know how. At least try and know the nuances of our skin and our skin tone. Make sure that we don't look gray and we're not fucking casket ready, because it's a real irritating issue. Know that black people do actually show color in the sense of blush in most cases, especially when I'm sick. My nose gets red, my cheeks get red. When I get acne because of how light I am, I do show that blushing type color. Now, a lot lot of darker skinned black people may not show that same color. But yeah, I'm light enough to where those colors like the blush would show up on me. Know that all our hair isn't straight. We have different types of hair. Look up what curl patterns are and the different curl patterns. Try to figure out how to draw curly hair accurately. Know about natural hair and how we have our hair, cornrows, braids, protective styles, baby hairs, all of these things that may contribute to black people. Instead of maybe drawing something like a plump small lip, try drawing a plump big lip and see how the tone of our lips are, how it looks, where the pink in our lips is, specifically how different lips look. Some people have a bit of flatter lips, some people have more plump out their lips, some people do have small lips, how our bone structures work. All the work you would take to show and represent the average white character or manga character or Japanese character or non-specific race or culture character. All that work you would take to learn how to draw them and the proper tones and colors. Take that same time for black people and represent us in a way that is more accurate to who we are. Not saying you can't go off the grid of like where that person comes from and things like that, but just take the time to try is my point. If you like this video, like it. If you want to recommend me any videos, you can leave it in the comment below, or you can go to my Discord server and leave it in the recommended channel. Subscribe to my channel if you want to. I'm not the most nice and civilized of people, but I'm trying to calm down a little bit from that, so I might become one. Probably not. I'm probably gonna be a bitch forever, but it's whatever. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.